Today I want to talk to you about music and memories, because without music I don't think I'd have any memories at all. Let me give you an example of this morning. I get up at around 6 o'clock every day, and the first job I do is go down and make a cup of tea, and then I come back to bed, put the radio on. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I do like oldies. Probably it's because of my age. New music isn't made for the people of my age, so I leave them young'uns to it. And I listen to a channel called Boom Radio. Now, on Boom this morning, they were playing some pretty good songs, I've got to be honest. And it's amazing how many songs I hear that bring back memories. Just as an example, Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack back together again. June-ish of 1980. At the time, I was at Lowestoft in Suffolk. My mum and dad had a bingo on the pier there. And it was one of those songs that I played all the time that summer. It was just that good. And I was telling Debs how I made a bunch of CDs up for a friend of mine who's got a ride on the fairgrounds. And it was full of all songs like that, all the disco hits that sounded really good on rides. And he never played them. He's not a music lover like me. And when I gave him to them, he was playing a Michael Jackson CD. And I don't think that CD ever lessened his deck. It just got played over and over again all the time for years and years and years till it finally died. So every time I hear that, it takes me back to that. I heard Walk Away Renee by the Four Tops. And I was telling Debs that I wasn't really a big Levi Stubbs fan. I didn't really like their songs. But it did remind me of the fact that I liked him enough that when I was about 11, with some Christmas money, I went and bought the Four Tops Greatest Hits. And it's a good job I did, because my favourite Four Tops song of all time is on that Greatest Hits album. It's called Where Did You Go? And it was a B-side. It wasn't even an A-side. It was distressing, I have to tell you. And then, not long after that, they asked listeners to put in the songs that they first bought, and someone was saying that back in the 50s the first record they bought was an EP after seeing Ted Heath and his orchestra at the De Montfort Hall in Leicester, and they played the song Swingin' Shepherd Blues. Now, let's be fair, it was 2 years before I was born. It's big band sound. I'm not really the kind of person who should like that. But you know what? I absolutely love it. And the reason I love it is because my dad used to have reel-to-reel tapes when I was born. And I heard all of these tapes. And that song was on one of my dad's tapes. So it's a song that I really enjoy. Also on that tape was Ella Fitzgerald's version of it. I love that too. So as you can see, every time I hear oldies, I'm always going to hear something that takes me back in time. For instance, George Harrison was on there this morning, My Sweet Lord. Now, I don't know whether you know, you probably do, because most people know, that he got done for copying He's So Fine by the Chiffons for that, and he ended up paying £587,000 for using it. And yet, to me, it doesn't sound anything like it. But hearing that song reminds me of getting on the train to go to school in the morning, because that's what I had to do back in them days. There was Let's Twist Again played this morning. Now, Let's Twist Again for me, I was telling Debs again, that when I was a little boy, I would have been 3 or 4, I suppose, and my sister or my brother, one of the two of them, had that record. And I can remember, I don't know if you did this, put the record on a record player and sit there watching it go round and round and round. I've got this vision, I can see it. It was a green Columbia Records label. Even to this day, I was only 2 when it came out, I expect, but I can remember it to this day. And I can remember being sat on my mum's settee listening to this record and watching it go round and round and round. And then there was another one this morning, Pinkerton Assorted Colours. They did a song called Mirror Mirror. Now, it wasn't a big hit in the UK, and about, I don't know, 15 years ago, I suppose, I was doing discos at the time, and I did a man's 65th birthday party, and he came up to me halfway through the evening, and he said to me, look, I'm going to ask you for this record. I expect you haven't got it, because I ask for it all the time when I go to discos, and no one's ever got it. So I asked him what it was, and he said it's Pinkerton Assorted Colours, Mirror Mirror. And they said, I'm going to go away now because you probably haven't got it the same as everyone else. Well, I did. 2 songs later, I put it on, and I looked at him across the room, and as soon as I see him, tears came running down his eyes. And I looked around the room, and a few of his mates were exactly the same. And he came up to me afterwards and told me that it went back to when they were teenagers in the 60s, and it was their song, a little group of them, it was their song. And it's amazing how watching that chokes me up even now thinking about it. Such good times for those people, and records do that for you, don't they? Going back to that one earlier on, what I was talking about, the Swinging Shepherd Blues thing, my first single that I ever bought, and I didn't buy it, someone bought it for me, was the Beatles' I Wanna Hold Your Hand when I was 3 years old. That was the first record that came into my record collection at 3. By the time I was 10, I had 1,000 records. The first one I remember actually buying for myself, I went into the record shop in the town that we lived, and I bought Eddie Floyd's Knock on Wood, and that was in 1966, so I was 6 years old at the time. And music does that to me. Does it do it to you? If you've got records that take you back to certain times and certain places, put a comment down below. Tell us what they are, because I always love to hear other people's choices and what records mean to them, because they mean so much to me. I've got so many good memories to records, and some records that, to me, make me feel sad because of things that had happened at the time. And yet I wouldn't be without them. It's bittersweet. I love the songs, but I hate the memories that go with them. And it's a really, really weird thing. The other day I was playing some of my... I had a day. Do you know when everyone used to have records and they used to go and pull through their pile and just play anything, one after the other? Not in any sort of theme, but just because you fancy playing it. Well, I did that on Sunday. And I played K.D. Lang's Miss Chatelaine. Now, it's here in the UK, it wasn't a hit. It was just an album track off of the Ingenue album by K.D. Lang. But I love that. And I can remember hearing it the first time I played the album and thinking how great it was. And then, as well as that, the other day, I played Patsy Cline's Honky Tonk Merry-Go-Round. I can remember hearing that when I was at boarding school, when I was, 13, 14. I knew, obviously, crazy and things like that. But a friend of mine at school, now I was in a boarding school, so there were people from around the world, and this American boy had this Patsy Cline tape, and he played it, and Honky Tonk Merry-Go-Round was on it. And I can remember sitting in the dormitory at school listening to these songs, and it was him that turned me on to Patsy Cline as I was maybe 13, maybe 14. And it's so funny how without all of these songs, without all of these records from the years gone by, I don't think I'd remember anything. It's such a weird thing. And we were talking about it this morning as well, that some people, music doesn't mean so much to them, and I can't understand it personally, because I absolutely love it. And I play music pretty much all the time. I've had a lifetime of it, and to me, I'm a nostalgic, because people say to me, "Nah, that's not a good record. This is great. It's not got this in it. And so played saxophone on this, and so did this, and this was produced by so and so." And I couldn't care less about all of that. All I want to do is hear a song and sing along, totally out of tune, or as my wife calls me, Joey Falsetto, because apparently my voice is something special. Well, it's different. Let's put it that way. I won't give you a blast to let you know, because it's like not fair, really, is it? Anyway, that's about it from me. If you've got any comments, as I said, put them down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-da for now.